Hello and welcome to Nail Sculpting Do's and Don'ts. I'm Anastasia Milton and I'm super excited to see you all here. Let me know how are you doing, and I can already see that we have people from Cyprus, Jamaica, Canada, Utah, USA, California, Macedonia, Switzerland. Wow, thank you all so much for joining. I know that about 1 hour ago we had 1,040 something participants, and that's super exciting because I always get so energized and pumped when I know that so many people are watching and are going to work with us today. Okay, let's get started, and let me know how long do you know me, and if you don't, also let me know because I'm going to introduce myself in a few moments. How many years are you in the nail industry, and what would you like to learn from this class? Hello, Mai. Greetings from Finland, Saudi Arabia, Norway, Czech Republic, Texas, Sweden, Slovenia, Indonesia. Wow. Looks like we have people from all over the world here. Wow, that's super exciting. Okay, so I can see that some people are asking if you need to watch from the website. So technically there are two options. You can watch on YouTube and you can watch through Nails Pro Academy, but we prepared some special surprises, and that's why we recommend you to watch through nailsproacademy.com, because this is the place where you have a button that says download workbook, and we will be using this workbook today. This is where you can download it. If you're watching only from YouTube now, because this is where you notice this live, I encourage you to follow the link in the description. Go to Nails Pro Academy. You still have time and you can still download this book because we will be using it today for this class. Okay, 3 years, 8 years, wow, 4 years, 2 years. Hello from Romania. Okay, so we have people with different experience. Sarah, I've been following you for 2 years now. Hello from Canada, Romania. I am so excited to be a part of this class, Monica is saying, and many thanks for offering this for free. Of course. Swetha is sharing, I'm in the industry from past 1 year as a freelancer. Nails are my secondary career. Wow, that's so exciting. Okay, so today is a different class from what we normally did because we will be doing 2 days. So we have today and tomorrow, and I hope you will be joining us for both days because they're going to be filled with information. And also we are going to use a workbook. So if you printed it, that's perfect because I'm the type of person, I just like using my pen, my marker, marking everything. But if you did not, that's totally fine. You can also use it on your device, or you can even just, open it and use just a separate piece of paper and fill it right there. Okay, so in today's class, you will have an opportunity to get certificate. And in order to do this, you will need to watch and attend both days of the class, and also you will need to pass the special exam at the end. Another common question that I receive a lot is, will there be a replay? And yes, we decided to leave a replay because I understand that some of you are from different parts of the world. Sometimes it's nighttime, somebody may be working today, but it will be available for a very limited time. And also, like I said, the best perks will be for those who are watching live. So if you have this opportunity, I encourage you to do this. And also this live energy of people being here the same moment online is just so motivating. So replay will be there, but it will be available for a limited time. The class will take approximately 1 hour and a half to 2 hours. I will do my best to fit in this time, but I have prepared so much information for you that I'm sorry in advance if it's going to take a little longer. I also encourage you to be active. Ask questions. If you notice that somebody is asking a question, but you already know the answer because I said it like a few moments ago, I would appreciate if you can help them. And please respect each other because we all have different experience. There are some things that we already know about it, so something may seem too easy for you, but it may be very helpful and useful for beginners. Andres sharing, I follow you for 2 years, but I'm in nail industry for just 1 year. Wow, that's awesome, which means first year you've been just following me and then you decided to join the industry. That's so cool. Zoe sharing, nails are my passion and I'm a newbie, following you for a few months and now I'm finishing my nail technology course. Amazing. Jillian sharing, I'm Jillian from Niagara, Canada. I'm a baby nail artist, just started in September, and I hope to learn how to better sculpt gel nails. They always look and feel smooth when I file them, but then I get color on them and they look lumpy and uneven. We are going to talk about this today, so let me actually introduce you the program. Okay, so now let me know which number do you refer yourself with. So number 1, this webinar is for motivation and learning new things. You came here to get motivated, to get some fresh new energy. This webinar is also perfect for beginners, and this webinar might be a great start for you. Number 3, this webinar will also work for experienced nail technicians, and you will definitely learn new tips and tricks. I'm in this industry since 2004. That's quite a while, and trust me, there's always something new to learn. Maybe you're number 4, burned out. I've been there a few times, so I'm aware what it is. Doesn't feel very good, but it's time to reevaluate your work and get a dose of inspiration. So maybe it will be helpful for you too. And if you're already at a different level, you're teaching, you're an educator, but you still continue learning new things, that's awesome. Please do not hide. I'm actually open to colleagues to interact with another educator. So please let me know what's your number. Okay, so we have many number 2s and number 1, 3. Okay, so we have many beginners, but we have also experienced nail technicians as well as educators. Ooh, okay, and some people are burned out. Okay, mine is 2 and 3. Oh, that's totally fine. You can find yourself in a few ones, especially, number 1 and some other number can refer to you as well. So that's totally fine. Alrighty, so there are some people that might not enjoy and like this webinar, so I want to be totally honest with you because this webinar may not work for everyone. And I would like to, just share this as well. So this webinar will not work for you if you're looking for a magic pill that is going to solve all problems at once. Because I noticed some people are just looking for a very, secret special trick like, okay, you need to use this brush. And that's it. Like, that's the secret. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You're suspicious about everything and think that everyone is keeping the main secrets from you. Because I know that some of you are watching for the first time, but if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm sharing basically everything I know. I'm always open. I try to reply to all of your questions, so I'm definitely not going to hide any secrets from you. If you need motivation only, but you do not plan on acting. And by acting, I mean, actively participating on the webinar, just, writing comments, answering questions, working with the workbook, because getting motivation is great, but I would also be thrilled if you will get some outcome from this webinar, whether you will learn something or you will figure out what was the mistake that you've been doing in your work, or maybe you will even practice doing something with me today with acrylic. If you already know everything and have this impress me attitude, and also if you hate when someone shares experience and valuable information and offers online classes, because that's what's going to happen today. So if you're not in this list, let's proceed. Program for today. We'll quickly get to know each other. We will talk about different technologies such as tips, forms, and dual forms because there's so many options today. When I started in 2004, we had forms and we had tips. Not too complicated. Today we have tons of options. So you open Amazon and you're like, oh my God, what should I buy? So I know it's overwhelming to choose. So I will explain which one you should pick for different nail types. We will talk about lifting and broken nails. I know a lot about it because I've been there as well. Another topic that I will cover a little bit today and more tomorrow, because tomorrow will be like a day with slightly different topics. How to work faster. I know that most of you are interested in this part. Also, I will do a new online class presentation, nail sculpting class, and I know that some people are joining this webinar because you are interested in that one. And also, we will do hands-on demo with prep and acrylic extensions today. And this is the program for tomorrow. How to deal with inconsistent nail shape. We will talk about different kinds of nail shapes. How to work faster. We will do a little products overview for gel extensions. I will do a new online class presentation as well. And we will do the demo, but tomorrow we will do product removal and hard gel extensions. Because normally we did webinar dedicated to just one topic, such as gel or acrylic. And almost every time somebody was a little sad, like, oh no, I'm actually not working with acrylic. What should I do? Well, today we have a 2-day webinar, so we will cover both. But most of the things are actually quite the same with acrylic and gel. That is my biggest problem, time. Yeah, I understand, Ashley. That is quite a problem. Okay. And once again, after this class, you will be able to get certificate, but there are a few rules you need to follow. You need to attend both days of the online class, number one. Then, after second day, after tomorrow, you will need to complete the quiz within 24 hours after the class. You will have several questions you will need to reply, and if you will get at least 80% score, you will be issued a certificate. So stay with us for 2 days and you will definitely get it. Okay, guys, are you ready? Are you ready to open your mind and learn new things during these 2 days? Send fire emojis, or if you're not able to do this, just let me know with your comments and let's get started. Okay. I noticed that some of you are here for the first time, so I will quickly introduce myself. I'm Anastasia Milton. I'm in this industry for a very long time, since 2004. I'm a nail technician and educator, and I consider myself expert at dry manicure, at nail sculpting, but most importantly, I realized that the part in my job that I enjoy the most is not just doing nails, because I love this part, absolutely. I also love teaching and explaining things in an easy way. When I work with a certain person and I see that they don't understand, like they have a problem they cannot solve, and then I try to explain it, and then I explain it in a different way, and finally they understand it and fix their problem, that's like the best reward for me. So this is my passion. This is what I'm doing for many years now and still enjoy it. And I'm really excited to do it today as well. Oh, wow. We are all in fire. Thank you guys so much for all the fires and hearts you sent to me. Okay, you're ready? Well, I am too. Okay, let me just quickly check. Just a moment. Let me see if everything is clear with the quality and the sound. Okay, wow, we have 300 people online watching. Okay, so my goal is to help nail technicians to enjoy what they do and earn more by using simple techniques. Because one of the topics I'm going to cover is how to work faster, how to do nails that are going to last. And trust me, when you're doing nails that you enjoy, it doesn't even feel like work. You're actually enjoying it. It does feel like a well-paid hobby. So imagine you could do this all day long, and on top of that, you will get paid for it. Sounds like a dream, right? So let's make it come true. All right, let's get started. So I need you to open your workbook on page 2. And let's talk about tips, dual forms, or regular forms, about the techniques. So there are so many techniques out there, and which one should we choose? So the first one, which is so popular recently, is soft gel tips. I'm pretty sure you heard of it. This is when we use a soft gel tip, which is technically like a full cover tip, but it has all the qualities of the sculptured nails. They usually have a different shape and different length. There are so many different styles. Some styles are flat, some are more curved, like a sculptured nails. And this is like a great product if you need fast nail extensions. So soft gel tips are perfect for flat nails, for any kind of, I call them perfect nails, nails without any problems. So in this workbook, you have a few types of nails here, and it's up to you. I mean, how you can actually, I know if you don't want even to spoil it or draw something in it, that's fine. But I recommend you to make some notes and to note what kind of nail is going to work. So for soft gel tips, we definitely are going to pick flat nail. Soft gel tips will work for narrow nails, for short nails, and also they're perfect for fast nail extensions. So if your client has 30 minutes, 20 minutes, soft gel tips will be perfect in this case because they don't really require much skill in product application, in nail sculpting. You just need to prep the nails, you need to choose the tip, and then you need to apply them. And I'm not saying that if you are doing soft gel extensions, it doesn't mean that you don't need to have any skill at all. That's not true. Because if you try that, they're still not going to last. You need to be able to do a cuticle prep, to do nail prep. But once you do it right, the part when we apply soft gel tips on the nails, it's not that complicated. I mean, compared to nail sculpting. Is it possible to do a refill on those? Mary is asking. Yes, but it depends. I actually had this video a while ago when fill didn't work. So it depends on the nails and on the tips. Some of them, if they are not curved too much, sometimes you can. It depends on the condition of the nails. If you have too many lifting and broken nails, usually it will not make sense. So technically, yes, you can do fills sometimes, but sometimes it just will not work. Let's say if you have nails that are growing downwards. So once they grow longer, you can do fill, but they are still going to look downwards. And yes, it is very easy to soak off, that's true. Okay, so these are disadvantages, in my opinion. First of all, you need to buy many styles and shapes. You cannot have just square tips. Well, technically you can reshape them, but the point of soft gel tips is fast nail extensions. When you have the shape, you just use it. So you need to have at least coffin, square, oval, stiletto, almond, a few options. Also, it's not going to perfectly work for nails growing downwards or upwards. The opposite, downwards and upwards. If they're slightly growing downwards or upwards, that may be fine. But recently I had this client, I posted this video on YouTube and Instagram with some of her nails, especially the thumb, it's extremely growing upwards. So just imagine we have this nail growing upwards and we will attach a tip. We will end up with nails that are also growing upwards because the tips, they're just taking the direction of the growth of the nail. Also, they are quite challenging for extremely beaten nails. And by extremely, I mean when we have beaten nails and we also have a skin surrounding them. And also, it's a little tricky when working with nails with extreme deep C-curve. So on this, in your workbook, by the way, this terminology might be a little confusing. So by, it's called short or roofed nail. That's what I would call extremely beaten nail. And then we have convex nail, which is the same as nail growing downwards. And then we have concave nails, which is nail growing upwards. Okay, so these were soft gel tips. Let's talk about regular tips. This is the technology that I started with in 2004 because it was very common back then. And this one is easier compared to forms because you attach the tip on the free edge and technically you already have this shape. Now all you need to do is to apply the product on top and there we have this beautiful shape with the product on top. Okay, so regular tips are perfect for the following types. Definitely for flat nails. Regular tips can be a lifesaver for short nails, because when you do not have this free edge to fit the form, tips might be a great solution. They're also perfect for nails with a slight curve, and they were perfect for me when I started because I had problems with product application. When I was trying to apply the product on the form, it was just running all over. You know, the acrylic was trying to fall off the form. The gel did the same. But when I had the tip, at least I had these borders to work with. So tips were quite helpful here. And disadvantages of the regular tips are you also need to buy different styles and shapes. You need to have at least stiletto, square, and maybe almond. Also, in my opinion, now that I can work with any technology, I have to say that using regular tips, it's quite time consuming because you need to pick the size, you need to prep the tip, you need to apply it with the glue, then you need to slightly file it so there will be like no difference between the tip and the natural nail, and that it takes a while. So with tips, it's quite hard to work fast. Also, they're not going to work with extremely small nail beds because once you attach the tip, you already have this nail almost fully covered with the tip. It also won't work for nails growing extremely downwards because the same thing is going to happen like with soft gel tips. We have nails growing downwards, we attach the tip and it is going to have the same direction as the nail growth. And also, most importantly, tips are extremely challenging when working with a crooked nail. So when we have a finger or a nail that's not growing in the same direction as the rest of them, you apply a tip and then you have a long nail with the wrong direction growth, and it's going to be quite visible. Okay, so I noticed that some of you are sharing that it's not very comfortable to have workbook open and live at the same time, and I understand that because you might have one device. That's totally fine. I recommend you to still take some notes, okay, on the paper, on your notes app. It's up to you, and then you can fill the workbook, because if you already take some notes, it will be quite easier for you to fill it. Okay, and we have a question, what is olive nail? Okay, so let's actually talk about this. So I will explain how it is working with the notebook. Okay, so we have 6 different types listed here. And first one is flat nail. It's also the one I would call regular nail, okay, because this is the nail without any problems. It's rather flat, so I think everything is pretty clear with this one. Concave nail is the same as, it's also called ski jump nail, nails growing upwards, the nail that has direction of growing upwards, okay, in this direction. And then we have a convex nail, which is a nail growing downwards, okay, because I know that this part may be a little light, so it may be not as obvious for you. Then we have a tubular or arched nail. This is the nail with extreme C-curve. So we intentionally left this free edge right here so you can see it. These are nails that has this extreme deep C-curve. Then we have a short or roofed nails. Usually those are beaten nails. With some skin around the nail. Sometimes the skin is like this, just a little bit, but sometimes it's more extreme. It goes all the way up here. And finally, we have olive nail, which, I mean, actually olive nail is also what I would call, it's kind of the same as tubular arch nail, but it's not at its extreme. So it has, I would say, standard C-curve. And usually, in most of the cases, olive nail is not too challenging to work with, okay? and flat nail usually has whether flat C-curve or sometimes it's like this. Sometimes it's U-shaped. Okay. Okay. So we have many questions about the workbook, and then there's another one. Is the question from the workbook a separate task? Okay, so this is up to you. Okay, this is a free webinar, free challenge. If you do not feel like filling workbook, that's totally fine. You do not have to do this. If you're wondering if you need to do this in order to pass the exam, then no. Like, you will need to complete the quiz, and it will be much easier for you if you already have your workbook filled. So this is like up to you. We're not forcing you to do this, but I recommend you to. So some of these topics, we're going to go through them right now, like we are doing today with the regular tips, and you can fill them right now during the webinar. Some of the questions will not be exactly highlighted during this webinar, and I would like you to fill later. But once again, it's up to you because, this is not a school, this is like adult education, and that's like totally up to you to decide. What I would do on your place, usually when I have an opportunity to learn something I'm interested in, if you really want to take your nail skills to the next level, if you would like to be better at nail sculpting, at product application, at anything that is related to the nail industry, if this is something you would like, I strongly recommend you to do this, because sometimes it may seem, well, I mean, what is this? I'm just marking these stupid pictures. I mean, that's not fun, but trust me, it's actually working because, like I said, teaching, explaining things easily is my passion. And when you have something like this, you will memorize it much easier compared if you just heard it. If I would tell you, okay, regular tips are good for these nails and soft gel tips are good for this. Let's go. Next one. So if you actually mark this and think about it a little bit, it will stay in your memory. Is the quiz on the workbook? No. The quiz will be on the website. It will be like a test. Okay, so the next one is dual forms. I think some of you heard of them, maybe not. So dual forms are technically like a mold, and you can apply any product inside, acrylic, hard gel, polygel, and then you apply them on the nail, and this is how you get the perfect surface. And it may sound like a super easy technique, which it is, but it also has its own things you need to consider, such as you need to be careful to not apply too much product. You need to be aware that the product underneath should also be thin, otherwise these nails may break. And there are also some tricks. So even though as easy as it may look, if you already tried them, you definitely know that you still need to learn how to work with them. Okay, I personally like dual forms. I love them, and it is a lifesaver, absolutely. But sometimes with certain nails, using dual forms will be the opposite of time saver. It will actually take more than you're supposed to. So dual forms are perfect for flat nails, absolutely. They're perfect for working with polygel. You can use any product, like I said, with dual forms. You can use acrylic, you can use hard gel, but the easiest product to work with them is polygel. And also, usually dual forms are lifesavers for nail technicians who have troubles fitting the forms. Yes, because you do not need to fit the regular form once you work with dual forms. And they're also pretty good for short nails. I tried them on short bitten nails as well, so I will definitely mark them for short nails. So in our workbook, I will mark flat nails, olive nails, and short nails. Okay, so, and they are not great for concave and for convex nails for the same reason, because if you will try to fix the direction of the growth with the dual form, let's say we have upwards nail, and then you have the dual form and you will try to place it straight, we will end up without any product here on the stress area, and this nail is more likely to break. If it's the opposite, we have a nail growing downwards and we will feed the dual form trying to fix the growth of the nail, we will have extreme thickness right here on the stress area and on the free edge, which is also not nice, and these nails may break or have cracks on the sides. And also, if we have a person with very wide nails, usually it's quite hard to find the correct size of the dual form. Another disadvantage of dual forms is similar to soft gel tips, is because you need to buy different styles and shapes, right? So we have square dual forms, we have oval shaped dual forms. There are actually so many types of them. I've seen the ones with the extreme C curve. They even have this like Russian almond or pipe shaped dual forms. That's pretty cool. But you need to have at least a few styles to be able to do different kinds of nails. So they will not work for nails growing downwards or upwards. You also need to have additional LED lamp to freeze cure them. And also it's tricky when working with nails with deep C curve, because traditionally dual forms are designed for standard nails, the ones which are in your workbook referred to as flat nail or olive nail. And when a nail has a deep C curve, you try to fit the dual form, and in order to find the right size, you need to pick the one that's bigger, and we end up with nails that are looking extremely wide. Okay. So I am sharing all these advantages and disadvantages so you will guys, from my experience, understand like when it's great to use them, when it's not exactly. Because as you may see from my social media, I'm using all of these techniques depending on the goal, depending on the product I'm going to try today, depending on the client, on the nails we're about to do. And every single technique has its own advantages and disadvantages. So from what you may notice so far, so we're not going through all of them today. I noticed that some people were asking about full cover tips. I did not cover this because this is technically very similar to soft gel tips, so you can take all advantages and disadvantages from them. So I covered the most common ones, the most typical that we use today. And from what you can see now, all these techniques are perfect whenever a person has whether standard, perfect, like olive nails, or flat nails. So if we have a person with these two types, you can use any technique. It's pretty simple. But once we have nails that are slightly challenging, whether they're growing upwards or downwards, this is the part where it becomes tricky. And also, I did not state all of the nail types here. There are actually more. I just decided it will be too complicated. But we also have nails that are challenging in different ways, such as nails of people who have hyperhidrosis, which is excessive sweat, oily nails. We also have damaged nails. We have nails with unusual shape. We have nails that are extremely wide, closer to the free edge. We have nails with uneven sidewalls. Okay, so there are actually many, many types, but we just decided, to pick the most popular ones. So whenever you pick any of these techniques we talked before, you will not have any problems when working with standard or flat nails. But once there is a nail with a slight challenge, it's hard. And that's why for any kind of challenging nails, the best solution from my experience, trust me, like I tried them all I tested them on hundreds of clients. I do this test like all the time. And these are definitely regular forms. Because regular form, you can choose the direction of it. So whenever you have a nail that is not standard, you can definitely fix it with a regular form. And maybe in a week or two, like soon I will be posting a new video with a client who has like an injured finger and nail, which is abnormally growing, like all the way down to this side. And form was the only tool that actually helped me to fix it. And we were able to fix it with the nail sculpting, so it looks like a normal nail. Now, I can actually show you before and after later in the stories. Okay, so regular forms are perfect for flat nails, nails growing downwards because we can feed the form straight and fix it. For nails growing upwards, for short and beaten nails. For wide nails, absolutely, because you can create any length and shape that you want. And definitely, this is number one for crooked and injured nails. Okay, and another advantage is, I didn't even mention it here, but another great advantage of regular forms is unlike soft gel tips and all of them, you don't need to have like many styles of them. So you technically, I'll tell you the secret. So technically I usually use just one type, like a regular type forms for 90% of the clients. So if you're interested about the brand, currently I like Tones, and there are many other of them, or I also like red iguana forms. So technically you just need a regular one and a longer ones for the clients who prefer something extremely long, and that's it. You don't really need like many types because with tips, we already have them pre-shaped. So you need to have the several shapes. But with forms, you create your own shape. You create your own curve. You create your own like size of the nails. So actually this red iguana forms, so they're long. Let me show you this closer. Okay, so we have these forms, and you see that they're long, but they have this little line here that you can carefully separate it. Okay, I hope this is going to work now. Okay, and now we have a short salon form, or you can use them like this. So technically you have two types in one. So what I'm saying is with forms, you don't need to have like many styles. You can be great with one or max like two types, or like this. We have a short version or a long version. Oh, they actually have the same line right here. So we can turn them into salon one as well. Forms is speediest ways. Exactly. I completely agree with that statement with B Parlor because once you know how to do it, it's super fast and it's super easy. I like forms, but they always get stuck in the lamp, Vicky. Do they get stuck like to the lamp? Then I recommend you to make sure that you do not leave any sticky parts on top, so they're not like touching the lamp. I love the regular dual forms, Marie. Yeah, I completely agree with you. So if you will ask me, Anastasia, okay, there are so many techniques out there, like I'm overwhelmed, but I want to be able to work with any kind of clients. If I could choose one, which one should I pick? I will definitely recommend forms. And the best part is if you know how to work with forms, how to fit them, how to apply the product, all the rest of the techniques will be quite easy for you because even though they sound different, they're very alike. With tips, the product application is exactly the same. The only part that's different is tip fitting, and you can easily learn that. With dual forms, it's a little different because we apply the product upside down, but once you feel the product, you know how you apply it, you will also not experience any problems with them. You just need to know a few like tricks, how to fit them, how to apply them, and that's it. So if your goal is to be able to create any kind of shape with any kind of clients, I recommend you to learn how to work with traditional forms because they can 100% solve all your problems. And ideally, I would say it's great if you have like few options. Let's say you know how to work with forms, so you can create anything that you want. Inlay design, hard gel extensions, acrylic extensions, long nails, short nails, fix short beaten nails, fix like crooked nails. But also you know how to work with soft gel tips. So whenever a client comes with perfect nails and they have 20 minutes, then you have this option to do extensions fast. Okay, I can work fast with regular forms than those tips, especially when I have clients. Oh no. When I have clients who can't stay still. Oh yeah. Actually, clients who can't stay still might be a problem for any product and any technology, because I mean, if they move a lot, that I had a client and she was moving so fast that she managed to smudge acrylic nail. I mean, how is that possible? It dries pretty quickly, right, in a few seconds, but somehow she did something that freshly applied acrylic moved. So yes, you need to be aware. Okay, so they definitely have their disadvantages as well, which is you need to learn how to feed them. And I think this is their main disadvantage, because they might be a little tricky to learn how to work with them, because if you feed them incorrectly, the snails may break, they may not look as great as you wish, and it may take time. That's why in our online class that I'm going to present today, forms, I think there are at least 16 lessons dedicated only to the form feed, because I explain how to feed them for different nail types, how to feed them when you have like a wide nail or when you have a nail with uneven natural smile line where one side is higher and another one is lower. And it's tricky, but once you figure out how to do this, you will be able to work with any kind of nails. Diane is sharing, I prefer paper forms, not so many boxes to take with me. Okay. I use regular form, but I lose time in shaping the nail. Okay, well, yes, fitting the form is one part of the service, but it's not everything, even though it's important. Okay, these are advantages of regular forms, but I think I already mentioned all the advantages, so let's recap. So fast fitting, when you learn how to do this, you can work with any nail types. It's perfect for damaged, injured nails. And I actually like working with these nail types because I like doing transformations. I like when a person comes, I had so many clients with short and beaten nails. They just come and sit by my table like this. So they just hiding their nails. And then I do extensions, and do you know how they leave me? They hold their hands like this, like, bye, Anastasia. See you next time. Because this is how you feel when you like your nails. So they work for nails growing upwards and downwards. And you just need only 2 types of forms, like we just talked. And they perfectly work with any product. Gel, acrylic, hard gel, like anything. Okay, so I assume there was a question discussing what kind of forms. Well, I definitely recommend single-use forms. I mean, when I was working in early 2000s, they were like multi-use metallic forms. I'm not even sure if it's still the thing. I haven't seen them much lately, but definitely single-use paper forms are great. There are also plastic forms, and at some point I liked working with them, but I think they are not very comfortable to work with the clients, who have very like puffy sidewalls, with clients who have very like oily and like moisty skin. So I would say, yeah, paper forms is like my preference now, but actually some plastic forms are quite good. Since I found the ones that I like, I'm not doing much of the research recently, so maybe there are good ones out there, but definitely the single-use ones are the ones I can recommend. Okay, so I was sharing my story recently. I shared this, I think, in a video, about my competition, about me judging and doing social media, and I get this a lot. I can't believe you started from zero. Well, first of all, trust me, every single person at some point started from zero. I didn't have anyone in my family doing nails or social media or any kind of business. So I had to learn this all on my own. And my first works looked like this. Oh, this is actually not a bad one. They were worse. Obviously, I didn't take pictures of the ones that were really bad. I wasn't actually taking much pictures of my works back then. But most importantly, even though this picture might seem not as horrible, the saddest part was most of the nails that I did when I started, they didn't last. So I didn't have many clients. I didn't have money to buy products or equipment, experience, or opportunity to learn from someone. So, I was technically stuck. Okay, I want to become a nail technician, so I did pass this first beauty school, which was only 5 days education for acrylic extensions. And the saddest part was I didn't have much returning clients during my first year, which means I managed somehow to attract clients, mostly through my friends, through like my closest circle. I did nails for them, and then they didn't come back. And it took me quite a while to understand that they're probably not returning because they didn't like my work, or they didn't last. And I made all possible mistakes. Lifting, inconsistent nail shape. I just didn't realize most of these mistakes. And some people just never returned, so I didn't even know if something is wrong. So I started charging about $20 from the beginning because, of course, I'm a beginner. How can I charge more? I worked as a mobile nail tech. I have quite a few stories about that, and it was hard. Then I worked from home. Then I worked in the salon and finally rented a booth in the salon. That's like a quick story of how I worked. So I've been in all of these places. That's why, when I usually get a question that's related to anything, like how to work in the salon or working from home, I just know all this because I've been through all of these stages. And most importantly, I did mistakes too, like many of them, including this kind of painful breaks. And, at some point I was thinking that, well, I'm just unlucky. I have clients who are very clumsy and who always, fall and do this. And, well, yes, this happens. Some people are extremely clumsy, 100%, but sometimes it was my fault. Sometimes I just structured nails incorrectly. Like you can see from this picture, the smile line looks quite good, right? But the structure was still incorrect that leads to this painful break. So I just want you to know that I came through so many mistakes, and just back then I didn't have social media, so obviously I didn't share it with everyone, but that's what it was. So if I could do it without taking classes, well, I did take one class, but as I later realized, it wasn't like I didn't learn much from it. So if I could do it without taking classes, and it took me years to figure all this out, how I can finally apply the product so it won't lift, how I can finally create nails that are not going to look like twice wider than my nail beds, then you 100% can do it too, because now you don't need to waste years. Now it's possible within a few months, because we have information everywhere. We have social media, we have internet. You have this opportunity to learn, and you can do it 10 times faster. Okay, so please do not doubt yourself, because I see it a lot. Like, Anastasia, you're great, but I'm not sure I can do it. Why? I'm the exact same person as you. I just have a little more experience, maybe a different kind of experience. Okay, I just been through these mistakes with losing clients, with lifting, and I spent some time figuring them out and fixing them. And that's the only part that's different. Okay, so that's why I'm super thrilled to attain all this knowledge and share it with you. Okay, so if I could do it, you can do it, just like my students. Just take a look at their work. So when I explain how much I love teaching, how I like to improve people's lives, I think it's just easier if I show you the results, right? Because like pictures, well, actually, they say actions speak louder than words, right? Well, in our case, it's going to be nail pictures. So I'm always proud to share them because I love seeing this transformation when we have a student who is starting from zero or already have some experience but wants to learn more. And then we teach them, we help them to fix their mistakes, and finally, they're sharing their beautiful works. And another question that I get a lot is it possible to learn online? Well, we are learning online right now. So yes, absolutely. Most of the things that I learned, such as I'm currently learning Spanish, I'm taking accent reduction class. What else? I was learning delegating. Well, need to learn a little bit more on that, social media, and everything was online. So why not? Absolutely, we can do it. So now, like last year, it was actually not my plan. I didn't plan it, but it just happened. I lived in a different countries because I was choosing the one that I'm going to like the most. So I ended up traveling the world, but as I was living in these different countries, it was like Turkey, Arab Emirates, US, Mexico, Thailand, Malaysia, I was continuing working. Okay, so I was doing classes, I was interacting with you guys, I was recording videos on YouTube, because just think about it. 10 to 12 years ago, which is not that far, somebody thought that, okay, doing nails and traveling the world at the same time, how is this possible, right? Because it was actually my dream my whole life to travel to see the world. And I thought that the only way to make it possible is whether I need to work for some international company that is going to send me to these fancy business trips, or I need to work as a flight attendant. But I didn't get any of those. I ended up in the nail industry and still ended up fulfilling this dream. So I don't see any reason why you could not connect your dream and your passion. Okay, so after this beautiful picture, let's switch to the next one. And okay, that was a little motivational story. Now let's get back to our topic, which is lifting and broken nails. Okay, so this is page number 7. Let me know if you guys experience lifting and broken nails from time to time. And this was my problem number 1 for at least a year or two. Can you believe this? Like for so long. And the reason I realized that this problem is here because luckily I did have some clients who were my friends as well. And I saw them from time to time, so I just could see their nails after 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. And I just saw something like this you can see on the picture. Like they were terribly lifted. And I was like, no. Something is wrong, okay? So I didn't understand what I was doing wrong. That was like the toughest part. I was Googling and researching this topic, and obviously I felt so bad about it. But I didn't understand like what's wrong. Some people end up breaking their nails and sometimes with blood. I had one picture of this, but trust me, there were much worse pictures I never took. And also I was using cheap products, and the reason all this happened was not because of that, but this was like on top of these problems, this was another one, like I couldn't afford the good ones. And most importantly, I had no idea how to properly prep nails. And of course, I didn't realize it back then. This is what I understand now. And this is what caused all these problems. My problem is lifting even though I prep the nails very carefully. Well, yeah, exactly. That's how I felt. I'm like, well, I do everything correct. I use primer. I use dehydrator. I push back the cuticles. Why they are lifting? Okay, so let's talk about this. In your workbook, you will have also all the reasons listed for product lifting depending on the area. Okay, so lifting is always a mistake in the technique. It's less than 1% when lifting is somebody else's fault, such as a client was walking through the woods and fell. Yes, it can be the reason, but it's very rare, less than 1%. Most of the times, it's still something that we did wrong. Usually, it's nail prep or product application. 85% of the cases is because of these two parts, or sometimes it can also be rough nail filing and shaping. That's another reason for it. So if you have product lifting, this is what you need to do. You need to prep the nails correctly. You need to gently remove the surface shine. Do not apply product on the skin or close to the skin. We will be doing a demo today, which will be a little later. Too far from the skin will not work either. And most importantly, do not apply too much product near the cuticle. So when you read to these reasons, they may sound pretty obvious, right? Well, of course, I'm not applying like a ton of product near the cuticle, but you need to really analyze. So when you take a look on your nail from the side view, once it grows a little bit, okay, once the product moved, so you should not be able to see any difference from the line and the natural nail. It should be like perfectly smooth. If you see your natural nail and then there is some kind of border, okay, like a bump, and then we have a product, well, this part is most likely is going to lift. Also, you may notice that some of your clients do not have any problems. Everything's perfect. But there are some clients that always have this lifting, right? Let me know if it happens to you. And the reason is the same as what we talked about at the beginning. So some people just have regular nails that do not usually cause us nail technicians much problems because they are dry, they do not have this like super deep C-curve or something that's hard to work with. And sometimes, so these clients usually do not experience any problems. But once we're dealing with something more challenging, such as oily nails, such as damaged nails, peeling nails, extra wide nails, extremely beaten nails, this is where the problems begin. And this is where we have this lifting and broken nails. So in my opinion, the true mastery of the nail technician is when you can deal with this kind of challenging nails. And once you can, that means you 100% understand and feel how the product works, how the nail works, and how to do something that is perfectly going to work together to create beautiful nails on absolutely any canvas that is given to you. Okay. In case we apply more product near cuticles, can we file it down? I know it's not ideal solution, but just for beginners. Zoe, great questions. Yes. If you have dry nails, perfect nails, you can apply as many products as you want and you can absolutely file it down. But there is a type of nails, like an oily nails, or especially clients with hyperhidrosis, which is over excessive sweat. Sometimes you just take their nail or hand and you can feel how wet it is. I used to have it when I was younger. You apply the product, you apply a little more than you're supposed to, and you can see lifting immediately, especially with acrylic. Let me know if you've ever seen this. I definitely had this. So yes, you can file it down, but with some nails, unfortunately, it's not going to work. And yes, if you're a beginner, that's the option you need to do, but I encourage you to learn how to apply properly, and that's my topic for today and tomorrow. One of the parts, how to work faster. So we do have a class that's called Need for Speed, but later I realized that the point of this class is only for students who already passed level 1, 2, and 3 of nail sculpting, because it will help you if you already know how to work fast and you want to get even faster. On my class for beginners, I do not teach you how to work slowly from the beginning. I mean, what's the point of working slowly, right? We want to work fast right away. So I'm teaching you how to apply the exact amount of product that you need, how to file and shape the nails so they will be shaped like you want them, right? We do not want to apply too much product and then file it all off. We want to apply the exact amount of product that we need right now, so you will not really need to file it. Okay, cracks near the stress area, another one of my biggest problems. This is how it usually starts, and then it turns into painful breaks. Who had problem like this? Let me know. Reasons can be different. Most popular ones are incorrect tip prep or form fitting. So let's say if you fit the form, but there is this gap between the nail plate and the form, and the product is going there, which means you apply some amount of product, and instead of applying it on top of the nail where it's supposed to go, it will stay under the nail, and this nail is definitely going to break. If you have too much product near the sidewalls, or it's the opposite, you did extreme thin application along the sidewalls. So this part is very tricky. You're not supposed to apply too much along the sidewalls, and you're not supposed to do the opposite, apply too little. I know that sounds overwhelming, but that's what we need to learn. And this is like one of the most important parts too. So once I finally beat this problem of product lifting near the cuticle, I was like, oh my God, okay, finally, there's no lifting after 4 weeks. I'm the queen of the nails. This problem comes next. Cracks right here on the stress area. And then I had to fight with this one. So you need to learn how to apply the product along the sidewalls. And most importantly, you need to build the correct structure of the nail. And this part is extremely important because it's like building a house, okay? So let's see, you did like a beautiful interior, you build the roof correctly, but then there's something wrong with the foundation. This house is not going to last, especially when, I don't know, like a tornado or storm hits, right? And that's exactly what's going to happen with the nails. Once the person slightly hit the nail, it may break if the structure wasn't correct. And the trickiest part with the structure is sometimes these nails, like on the pictures on Instagram, they may look great. They may look amazing. They may have this beautiful shape and amazing design, but if the apex is placed incorrectly, if you have too much product or not enough product along the sidewalls, they may still break. Okay, so I see that this problem is also very common for you. Vicky is sharing, sometimes I have this, but I fear that it's because I file the sidewalls too much and so the product is so thin. Yes, actually it could be the reason too. Sometimes you do apply like okay amount of product, but then you just want them to look more slim and thinner and not as wide, and you just file and file and file them and end up having over-filed sidewalls. Okay. So these parts are very important. Nail prep, as we just talked, nail prep is number one thing you need to learn, because this completely depends on how well you prep the nails. Depends on how long these nails are going to last. If the prep was bad, they're not going to last very long. Form fitting is another one that determines how long these nails are going to last and how great they're going to look. And if you made a mistake in form fitting, it doesn't matter how well you know how to work with a nail file, how well you file and shape the nails. Yeah, some things you can't fix. So they're going to look a little better. But if the form was fit, let's say, more to the side, there's no way you're going to create this symmetrical C-curve anymore. So this is important too. And then finally, so we were talking about the prep and form fitting a lot, but actually product application, I think, is another important part. And depending on how well you do this part, this is totally determines how well the product is going to last, how great nails are going to look, and how fast you're working. I have competition background. I used to compete a lot. Now I'm training people for the competition and judging them. And the champions, the people who get like 1 and 2nd and 3rd place in a nail competitions, are the ones that mastered product application perfectly. There's always a limited time when you need to do this perfect trench nails or one color nails. It depends on the competition. And do you know what's the time, like how the time is spent when these champions do the nails? They spend a little time on form fitting, like a little bit on nail prep, and most of the time they take is for product application. So they can do it perfectly, and filing and shaping is just a tiny bit. Okay, so we will talk about a little bit more about speed and how much time you need to spend on each section tomorrow. Okay, that's more like a topic for tomorrow. Okay, now let's quickly talk about another small topic, how to pick the products, and then we will proceed to the next part. I'd love to compete one day, Samantha sharing. Well, that's great. I can talk for hours about competitions, and I would love to help you with that. I mean, I don't know why, but competing was always something that I really enjoy, and I was lucky enough to get this early. It was not for the sake of winning or being the first, but later, after talking with my therapist, I realized, well, this was a case too. But anyways, the reason why I was always so excited about this is because once I started competing, this is the part when I started learning how to do nails. I was taking these competition classes where I was focusing how to learn the product application. So I started to work better and I started to work faster. And this is what all of my clients noticed. So I started earning more as a nail technician, not because I had these medals. Clients don't really care about this, right? They come to your studio, yes, they see, oh, well, you're a champion, that's great, but they're not going to exactly pay you more because of that. But as I could do a better job, as my nails were long-lasting, and as I could do them fast, so I ended up raising my prices and easily gaining new clients for a new price list. So this is usually how it works. How do you make a natural nail wide nail beds look slimmer when client wants to keep short natural nails? Oh my goodness, Megan, that's quite a task because when I read the first part, I was about to say, well, you just need to pick a nice shape that fits them, such as almond or oval, but then you said they want to keep their short natural nails. Well, if we are talking about extensions, then I will definitely recommend any shapes that are going like this. So it's a coffin, almond, stiletto. But if they want to keep short nails, well, I would only suggest picking the design, such as, let's say, vertical lines usually make the nails look slimmer. Or if they're still okay with doing extensions, you can do square shape. And if you build the deep C curve, if you pinch them a little bit, they're also going to look more narrow. It's a legit dream of mine. Okay, how to pick the product. So since today we will be doing acrylic demo, let's talk about acrylic first. And at first, I was going to work a lot, like on this part, but then I realized that it's actually not that hard. So these 4 sentences, these 4 simple rules, all you need to know about choosing the products. Okay, guys, really, it's not as hard. So first of all, I recommend you to choose reliable brands. And by reliable brands, I mean they at least need to have a website. It should be a brand that you know about, have some social media pages, you've seen reviews from bloggers, from other people about them. Okay. Number 2, they need to have this MSDS information. Usually they need to have them on their website, but if you can't find it, if you don't, then you need to contact them and they should be able to send it to you. Okay. And if we're talking about acrylic, when you read the ingredients of the monomer should not contain MMA, which is methyl methacrylate. So recently I received this question in the comments, I think, which was, Anastasia, you mentioned that acrylic products should not contain MMA, and you are using, I don't remember which brand they mentioned, probably this one, like Lemon Glitz, and you're using Lemon Glitz powders, and they include MMA. Okay, so monomer should not contain methyl methacrylate. Okay, it should include ethyl methacrylate, which is EMA. Okay, so you can see those written down there. EMA should be the first ingredient in monomer. MMA, is bad as long as it's in liquid. But if you see it somewhere else, such as in powder, that's fine. Okay, so you need to be aware of this ingredient only in the monomer. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need to know. So there are so many brands today. They have so many colors and like different volumes. I tried hundreds of products. I mean, I do reviews. So I try new brand almost every week. And I have to tell you guys, like what's the difference between affordable and expensive products. Most of the time, like let's call them like cheap, more affordable products. Sometimes they just have a little less quality of the colors. Sometimes they're not as comfortable for like application. Sometimes they stick a little more to the brush, but that's it. Okay, so honestly, I've never, well, we're not talking about like maybe extremely cheap, but I've never seen a product that is so bad that you apply it and it lifts immediately. So it's all about how you use them. Okay, not about the product. So yes, there are some product, let's say, who with white powder or with black powder, you apply it and it marbles. Okay, so yes, the quality of the color can be different. The smell of the monomer, the whiteness of the white can be better, can be worse, depending on the product you're using. But how long it lasts, how well the shape looks, it's all up to you. It's all about how you use them. So this is what you need to make sure about. Make sure that this product is safe to use, that the monomer does not include MMA. I also encourage you to check if the brand is reliable and they have MSDS information. And once you have this out of your checklist, you can definitely use this product. Later, you will realize that you prefer this brand to this brand because you like medium setting products to fast setting products. Okay, this is like a matter of preference. So there's no such thing as the best brand I can recommend you right now, like this one. Okay, like there is no best color or the best partner for everyone. Okay, we all have our own preferences, and that's why there are many of them out there. I just want to like assure you, as long as this brand matches these requirements, once it's reliable, it's safe to use, it is going to work great as long as you do the application and all the rest of it like you should. Okay. I just checked. My monomer's only ingredient is EMA colorant. That's awesome. Then you can keep using them without any worries. Why MMA in monomer bad, not in the powder? Well, because MMA is bad like only in the liquid form. So when I started, MMA monomers were not as rare. I actually like seen them, I even tried them, I think. First of all, they have terrible smell. Second, it's more common to get allergic reactions from them. By the way, quick disclaimer, we can get allergic reactions from absolutely any product, but with MMA, it was just more often. And finally, once you use MMA, so this first generation acrylics, they were extremely hard, which from the like first glance feels great, right? We have nails that are going to be so like firm and they're going to last. but this was not good actually. They were not flexible at all, which means if you accidentally hit the nail, usually they ripped off with like part of the nail plate, like nail bed, which was very painful. So actually, ideal scenario, if you hit the nail at some point, it should just break, okay, without your nail. And this is how the products of the new generation works. So products should be hard to some point, but not extremely, right? It should not be designed so it will damage your nails all the time. So that's why companies stopped using them, and it was actually restricted at 1974 by FDA. So now it's illegal even to produce this kind of monomers. Is there a fast-setting low-order monomer? Well, low order is very tricky questions. For some people, this is low order. For some, is not. Well, if we're talking about fast setting, I would say Super Nail is pretty fast setting, and Anastasia traction. Okay, so let's go to the demo, okay? Because wow, we are talking for 1 hour and 15 minutes now. Are you tired, guys? How do you feel? So let's switch to the page number 15, where you have this workbook. And if you need to take some notes, if you want to mark something like some specific area of the nail, then you can use this workbook. And let's do it, because we actually have a few demos today. So I recorded this one in advance for you, because every time I did live demonstration, the quality usually is not great when live streaming. You're not able to see the details, so I did record it in advance so we can see a better quality right now. So I will ask my assistants to turn on this nail prep demo video right now. So we can. And this is one of the rules of fast work. If we can cut something, then we are going to do this instead of filing, okay? Because this is simply faster. So I just took off the product from my nails, and now I'm cutting them short. And we are going to prep them for extensions, and today we will be doing acrylic extensions. And any part that you can optimize, that you can do faster, I recommend you to do faster. Okay, so after that, I'm definitely filing and shaping the nails. I'm using the file which is 180 or 240 grit file. So if you have regular nails, 180 grit will be perfect. But for thinner, damaged, more sensitive nails, 240 will be great. What scissors do you use? Oh, Bailey, these used to be my cuticle scissors, but then they get dull, so then I use them for nails. So these are like regular cuticle scissors. I believe the brand is Silver Star. So the reason I'm shaping nails with the file after I cut them, because I want to have them this slight smooth shape, so it will be easier to fit the form, to work with them. And then I'm pushing back the cuticles. I'm using orange wood stick. You can also use pusher, but if you are a beginner, I recommend you to use an orange wood stick. So when we prep the nails, we need to not just to push them back and nothing else. We actually need to clean this protein that is near the cuticles. And there are a few different ways to do this. I prefer doing e-file prep with electric nail file. If you are a total beginner, you never used e-file, then I definitely recommend you to do this manually, to use file only to do this prep. But to me, this is faster. And this is also not just how I do prep, but I also do manicure at the same time. And by the way, this video is not speed up. Well, it is edited a little bit. I mean, I edited parts when I was taking the e-file, turning it on, but I didn't speed up the work itself. So you are seeing the actual speed now, how it works. And I also wanted to show you that it doesn't really take long. right? As long as you know what you're doing. And I also intentionally showing you not just one nail, but how I prep all nails. So have you noticed that I was doing only one thing at a time? So first I cut them all, then I shaped them all, and currently I'm working on the left side of the cuticle with a flame bit. This is a flame diamond bit with red abrasive mark. The speed is about 17,000 rotations per minute, and I did this right side on all 5 nails. Well, this is my hand, so I'm working only with one hand for now. With the client, that's going to be 10 nails, obviously. And so I do not do one nail from the beginning to the end, because this is how it's going to take longer. And most importantly, I want to have the exact same shape and result on every single nail. Okay, so once I did this one side on all of them, then I switched to the right side and do all this on every nail. Like I started from pinky, then I go to the next one and to the next one. So whenever you're working with the clients, I recommend you to do the same. Because if you will be doing one nail from the beginning to the end, and the next one, it is going to take you longer. So I included this prep into this new class I'm going to present today, Nail Sculpting for Beginners, because I think this is also a great way to prep nails. However, if you never ever worked with electric nail file, then I recommend you instead to take, we have a class which is called eFile 101, which covers everything you need to know about electric nail file, including this kind of prep. So this is how I do the prep and the manicure at the same time. As you can see, I don't have much of the cuticles to remove, but with some clients, this part is extremely helpful. So after that, I take off the surface shine, and there are also a few ways to do this. You can use a hand file or you can use a hand buffer. So I take the hand buffer. This one is 180. It doesn't really matter which one you use. Sometimes it's just more comfortable to use it. And most importantly, I do not use e-file to take off the surface shine. I did experiments on a few clients, and honestly, I did not like the results, because even if you set an extremely low speed, even like 3000, it's still, once you touch the surface of the nail plate, it's going to file it too much and it's going to polish the surface of the nail, and that's not what we need to do. Once you touch the surface of the nail with a hand file or a buffer, you are going to take off only 1 or 2 layers, and this is what we need for the prep. Okay, and finally we trim the cuticles. There are also a few options to do this. We can use e-file to do this as well, or we can use manicure scissors or nippers. So also, I did this prep on all nails, and then I trimmed them one by one. So the number one secret and key to work faster is to do it like this. Oh, wow. Okay, should we use 100 grit to remove shine? Srishti, absolutely not. With 100, we are going to damage the natural nail, and actually the adhesion is going to be worse. So no, you need to use 180 grit, and for extremely thin or damaged nails, you can use 220. Okay, so this is my hand. The prep should not take too long. Oh, okay. I was, just talking and looking at the video, and now I immediately see myself. So this part was the nail prep. Let me know if this is similar to how you prep the nails. I see a little discussion here on if we can use a sandband. My opinion, and I always share it, is that you should not do this, because I tried it. On some nails it works and you don't see any problems. But like I said, even if we set an extremely low speed, I have an e-file where you can set a speed to 500, not 5,000, 500. So it says 0.5K RPMs, and I'm just sure that most of e-files do not have that. But even if I set it at this extreme low speed, still it's easy to count how many rotations are going to be there per like 2 seconds. It's still going to be like 100 of them. So once you touch the surface of the nail plate, it is like it's going to look like it scratched the surface, but what it actually did, it just moved too much, removing the layers, but not really pushing them up. And it is going to work with regular nails, with olive nails, like the ones we have in our workbook, with nails that do not have any problems, and especially it's going to work with thick nails, with healthy nails. But if you will be dealing with a person who had their nails damaged due to improper product removal recently, or peeling nails, or oily nails, these might not be enough. That's why I recommend hand prep. And like I explained to you, speed is also super important to me. I think working fast is important too. So taking off the surface shine with a hand file is not really adding too much. It also can be quite fast, as well as you did all the prior prep. Okay, but like I said, this and everything that I'm sharing today and tomorrow is my experience, and it's all based on my own experience with my clients, working with my nails. So as long as you trust me as an expert, you like the work that I do, the work of my students, feel free to use all of my advice. I was told not to cut cuticles. What should be done? Super confused. Okay, this is also a great question. Should we trim the cuticles or not? So technically, you can skip this step. You cannot cut them. Just leave it like this. That's totally fine. If you did the prep well, if you take off the surface shine, if you clean this protein under the cuticle, that's fine. The nails are still going to last. If you live in Eastern European country, then I don't know how traditions or the fashion, you should cut them because this is what people expect to see. But sometimes if you have a cuticles like I just showed you, like my cuticles, if you do not cut them, it's still going to look okay. But I have some clients, you can check out on my YouTube, I have a client called Anna. And if we do not trim her cuticles, it will be technically even not possible to apply acrylic as close to the cuticle as I want. Some clients have hangnails. Some clients have cuticles that are spreading half onto the nail plate. Once you push them up, you will have quite a piece of skin on top, and it's just going to prevent you to apply the product properly. So I would say there's no real necessity in cutting the cuticle. I mean, if we don't, it's still possible to do extensions, but in some cases it's just not going to look good. In some cases it just will prevent you from doing extensions properly, especially hangnails, especially if there's a lot of skin. So I recommend you to still trim it, but do not take it to extremes, right? You may see in all these videos where it's taken too far. People are cutting it's all the way along with the living skin. That's definitely not what we should do. Okay. All right, so now I will give you a little information on this class that I'm going to present today. So we have this class, it's called Level 1 or Nail Sculpting for Beginners, which includes acrylic and gel. And today I'm going to present an updated version of it. So it's the same class, but we added more and more features because we're doing online classes since 2016, I believe, and actually in English, but we started in Russian in 2012. So that's wow, that's 12 years. Crazy, right? And with every class, with every single student, I always analyze how they're doing. And you can actually see this is the picture of the student work. And they're doing great, but a little backside of the online education is that when you are in a live class, you're present. Right? You're right here, you have a teacher here, and I'm just telling you what to do. I'm fixing your mistakes right away. When it's online, it's very similar. We also have a teacher. We have a Linda here who's evaluating your works, who's giving you feedback. But the teacher is not sitting right in front of you, right? Which means we're all built this way. So, when we can relax, when sometimes we can't skip a class, we do it from time to time. I know it because this is what I do too. So my another goal for the last couple of years was to be able for every student that signs up for our class to be able to complete the class, because the biggest problem was not in the quality of their works. It's great, actually. The reason was some people just got demotivated for some reason in the middle of the education and just did not continue. Some people just didn't finish the class, and I understand that the reasons can be absolutely different, like not related to us or our class. I know that, there are so many things in life, and, sometimes something just can happen that distracts us 100%. But I was still thinking how I can make it work, how I can make people stay focused and involved into the education, and I think I made it. So I will share this updates in a few moments, but first let me show you that once you follow the technique that I will show you in this class, once you get the valuable feedback from the teacher, you will be able to do beautiful works like this. Today, we do not really have a lack of information, right? It's not even possible to watch all the tutorials on the YouTube and Instagram because there are thousands of them. But the difference from the online class is that in the class, you not just watch a step-by-step detailed explanation of every single part of the work. The most important part is the teacher's feedback, because we have slightly different mistakes. Some people understand easily the nail prep and do it right quickly. Others struggle with product application, or others struggle with form fitting. So the class is designed in such a way that we can focus on your particular problem. So once you submit an assignment, you take the picture of your work from different angles. We also explained it in details how you can do it. We detect the mistake that you are doing. Let's say it's form fitting, and we're going to work on that. Okay, so this is how the class is built. So it's very similar to the live class. Instead, you also have an advantages of the online class, such as learning from your home. Okay, so this is another picture of the work of our students, and this is another one. Like I'm always so proud when I look at them. And this one's actually too, this is a student from level 1, and these is extensions, right? They look a lot like there's a natural nails, but these are not. I think these were gel extensions, as far as I remember. Okay, this is another one. You may notice that some of these works also include nail art, and on our final assignment, like exam, we always ask students to take a nice picture, to choose a background, a good lighting, because this is, the final work. It needs to look good. And I also realized that this is another problem, because students were making amazing works, beautiful nails, but sometimes the pictures were so dark. Or the background was, so blurry that you cannot even see the nails. That's why in updated version of the course, we also included tips and tricks for nail photos, because this is also an important skill of the nail technician in 2023. And also we included some tips on how to take videos from your phone, because, I think this is also what we need to learn. That's like what the today technology are asking from us. And also we want you to make beautiful pictures and videos, because this is easier for us to see your mistakes and evaluate them. Okay. This is a Linda, by the way. So she used to be our student too, and she ended up passing almost every single class that we had. This is the collection of her certificates, and I'm pretty sure this is just a small part of it. This is not all of them. And now she's an educator for Nails Pro Academy, We also have Kisa, who is doing soft gel tips class. She also was, I think she was actually one of our first students, and then she ended up being an educator, and we actually love taking people from our students to our team because they already share our values, they know the technique that we work with, and this is amazing. Okay, so at the end of this class, you will get 2 certificates because it includes both acrylic and gel technology. So originally, and I still until last year, we had these programs available separated, like only acrylic or only gel, because people were asking for something like just one. But later I realized that actually like 80% of the information is the same. Nail prep, form fitting, filing and shaping. What else? Like all of these things, they are the same for acrylic or gel or polygel. No difference. Only the part when we do product application is different. That's why you still need to have the exact same skill. Also, if you're working, let's say, with gel only, let's say you're allergic to acrylic, but at some point you may have a client who comes to you with acrylic nails and you need to be able to know how to remove them, right? So you need to have this at least knowledge about acrylic to be able to work with them. So what I'm saying is that if for some reason you prefer not to work with acrylic or gel, that's fine. You will only need to skip a small, well, it's not really small, but a module on a product application on this particular technique. But all the rest you will still need to learn because this is like all part of this. Like I explained to you with the building the house, the foundation, the nail prep. Then we have form fitting. Then we have product application, which is different for acrylic and gel. And then we have filing and shaping, which is the same. Then we have color application. Then we have troubleshooting, lifting, broken nails, which is also exactly the same for every product. That's why if you already know how to work with acrylic, it will be easier for you to learn gel and vice versa. Okay, and also this class includes form fitting mini ebook. Because, you know, form fitting is quite a tricky subject and we do have many lessons on them, but this book is like an addition, so you can have something in additional. And finally, everyone who joins our online class, any class, you will get access to this chat at Nails for Academy students. Let me know if anyone is here from this chat, where we can talk about anything that you want with students. We have students from all over the world, just like we have now on this live. And this is some kind of, you know, community for nail education. Okay, so the advantages of online class is that lessons are available anytime. You do not need to wait for a certain date or time like with this live. You can just click play, whatever it's comfortable for you. I know there are some people who are night owls who like to learn at nights. Some people prefer to learn in the early mornings, like me. It's up to you. You can watch from any device, computer, laptop, iPad, iPhone, Android, like any phone. You can create your own schedule. Like you decided that you're going to take the class, let's say on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's fine. You will get feedback from your teacher. Then you will pass the quiz after you finish a certain modules. You can connect with students in international chat if you have some problem. And at the end of the class, you will need to submit the final assignment and to receive a certificate, 2 certificates, actually, if you prefer to learn acrylic and gel too. So this is a brief list of the topics that we cover. There are actually more, but I had to fit them in just one screen. So there's product chemistry, physiology and anatomy of the natural nail, nail sculpting. I included tips and overlay because if you are just getting started, it will be easier for you to learn the application, but the big focus in this class is only for forms. That's why it's called nail sculpting class. You will learn how to sculpt the nails, how to build something by applying the product. So you will learn nail sculpting, troubleshooting, consistency, practice, fitting the form for different nail types. So you will learn not only acrylic application, but also gel application. We have many exercises for that. So you start by doing simple exercises on the paper, then we'll learn on tips, and then you're going to practice on yourself, and only after that we recommend practicing hands-on on the models or volunteers. So you will figure out if it's too much filing or not enough filing, how to figure out which is which, how to find a perfect balance. I will teach you my unique filing and shaping technique, which allows you to get this consistent shape on every nail, and finally color application. Okay, I'm excited myself. And what's new? So we added the recording of a few exercises, such as this one is product consistency exercise with acrylic from different angles. So we had this camera that's up from the table, so kind of the same way as you will see it when you're sitting on the table, but we also added a side view, because sometimes, you also need to see what's happening from the side. So this is like a new adjustment, because, it's not like we recorded this course a million years ago and we just sell it, like a software. No, we always update it every year or 6 months, and this year I think we updated it the most. I also eliminated some lessons they used there before and made them shorter, saturated with information, because I know, in our fast world, sometimes it's kind of hard to sit and listen for a 2-hour less theory lesson. So what's possible to keep shorter, I try to keep shorter, and on the practice part, it's very detailed and long. However, in this player, you can speed up if you prefer to listen it faster, or you can do the opposite because it's a recording. So what's new? Detailed product application practice. There's acrylic and gel application, and we also added health, sanitation, and nail business modules. So this is what's new in this class. And besides product knowledge, product application, I decided that it's important to add these topics: how to attract clients, because, okay, I know how to do beautiful nails, but how am I going to attract the clients? So this is a new module. Then we have sanitation, disinfection, and salon safety. And then I added nail technicians' health and well-being, like how to protect yourself, how to choose the table that you need to work with, how not to get allergic reactions, because, this is important too, and it's better if you learn it from the beginning. Okay. And finally, this part that I'm most excited about is that we added live streams and Zoom meetings. So we did have these students-only live streams with me every month, and usually they cover different topics. Let's say in December, we had a topic that was called how to get fully booked in December, because it's related to this hot holiday season. We have different topics on latest trends in attracting clients. Sometimes it's dealing with difficult clients. Sometimes this topic is related to certain type of nails, how to work with them. So these are similar to the webinar that we have now, where I cover just a certain topic. Usually it's just 40 minutes to 1 hour, and it's for students only. And then we decided to also add 6 Zoom meetings every month. Which means in the entire class, you will have 6 Zoom meetings, which is once a month. Because in the live stream, you can only hear me. Well, you can leave some comments, but we cannot meet all together. So with these Zoom meetings, I would like to get more feedback from you so we can interact like in the real classroom. So what do you think about this idea? And of course, we can do troubleshooting, Q&A, and talk about the specific problem that you have. So this is, by the way, the screenshot from this live meeting that we had. At some point, I think I was explaining of how to take the class better, because 95 information will be gone if it's not used. And this is another thing I decided to add to keep you guys motivated, to help you finish this class until the beginnings. Okay, so this class includes 6 months access, which means you will have 6 months, half of the year, to pass this class, which is more than enough to do this. Like if you do, let's say, take lessons once, twice a week, you will absolutely do this. You can actually do it faster. We have students who finished it within 1 month only. It gives you 75 CEU credits, teacher-graded assignments. You will get 2 certificates at the end. It includes acrylic and hard gel technology, international students chat, and you will get lifetime access to this one. Monthly live streams with me and 6 Zoom meetings. Love the Zoom meeting. Felicia sharing. Okay, so yes, this is the information about the class. And of course, during the webinar, we always have a special. And the best deal will be today. If you're watching through nailsproacademy.com, let me quickly update the page and see if it's available. You will see this deal under the video. If you're watching through YouTube, then you need to quickly do this and log in through Nails Pro Academy so you can see these offers right there under the video. So the class starts on February 12th, which means you have time to prepare, to buy products, and so on. And tomorrow we will also have a great deal, which is lower than the regular price, but the best deal is exactly today. So you can see this offer under this video and the program. Meanwhile, I would like to continue the class. We also have acrylic application demo ahead. So are you guys excited to see this? Will we be seeing a live acrylic application, or is today almost over? Well, Christina, yeah, that's exactly what we are going to see now. Okay, so I will ask my assistant to turn on this acrylic application demo of the nails that I have today. I will show you a close-up later because now I have these nails on me 10 days later. And you can see how they look like. Okay, so first we need to feed the form. So these are the same nails I showed you the prep. And now let's do the extensions. Okay, so I feed the form. I already cut it according to my shape. So once you feed the form, you need to make sure that there is no gap between the nail plate and the form. Then we apply dehydrator, non-acid primer, and since today we're using acrylic, I decided to build the free edge with a milky, oh no, I'm sorry, that's not milky, that's actually white acrylic by Glam and Glitz. And this one, I believe, also glows in the dark with a little glitter. So I wanted to show you the main idea of perfect nail sculpting, and it's also quite, a secret of how to work faster. Once you apply the product, you do not need to hurry or rush to go to the next step, which is filing and shaping, right? I recommend you to take your time and to be able to apply the product as perfectly. So once you finish this part, I'm building the tip of the nail now, it should look exactly like as you attached the tip on your nail. By the way, it's taking me longer right now than it normally is because the color that I'm using is glow in the dark and it's slower setting than traditional, because normally I work with clear, but for this tutorial I decided to pick white because with a clear it will not be as visible on the form. So then I add a little more to create an ombre, and then we're going to do the design. So this is blue with glitter. I take a little bit and fade it, and now I'm using the consistency which is slightly wet, and it's totally fine because we already have white underneath, so it's not touching my nail plate. And then I add the shell. I'm going to show you how it looks separately later. So as you can see, this shell is a little crushed, so I kind of hold it a little bit while acrylic cures. So these crushed parts are going to hug the curve of the nail. Let me know if it makes sense. So then I add this dark blue, kind of underlining, outlining the shape of this shell. So it is going to look deeper, and this is how it's going to pop. And then I add some flakes, or glitter parts that look a little similar to this shell. So it's going to look like, I don't know, a galaxy, a shell design. I'm not even sure how am I supposed to call it. And then before fully sealing the design, I take a small amount of clear acrylic and seal the middle part first, because I want to avoid any bubbles getting inside. I want to make sure that everything is flat. And I would like you to pay attention to the amount of product I'm applying. This is inlay design. This is not a French. This is not one color nail. And even then, this nail should be as thin as if you would apply just one color. My goal is to apply the exact amount of product as I want to have on my nail when it will be finished. I'm not applying twice, 10 times more, 2 times more, because then I will waste precious time on filing and shaping. Okay? So this is the main principle that I teach in my classes, product application. This is the skill you need to master to be able to create perfect nails. And finally, I add another one near the cuticle. So I heard, sometimes people criticize my work because, oh, Anastasia, you're using so many beads and so on. But take a look at this. Like I said, the application itself, it's not sped up. So this is the nail after application. You've seen it. I didn't file. I didn't shape anything. You can see the product is matte. I take off the form. I slightly pinch it. Now take a look at this from all of the sides. We have this little side that need to be filed because of the shell. But other than that, we don't really need much filing. Let me know, guys, if you agree with this. We need some filing on the free edge and sidewalls. And this is it. Okay, this is the point of, to me, of nail sculpting. We need to sculpt the nail with a brush. Now let's go through this again, okay? I'll do one more nail, which will have the similar design. I just want to show you it all once again. Catherine is asking, what size brush are you using? This is size number 8. This is the size I recommend for beginners and for short and medium-sized nails. So we do this again. I feed the form, then I apply the white bead, and this is the free edge. This is the tip. So if you ever use the regular tips, you know what it looks like, right? So after applying this like base layer, I don't know, like a tip with acrylic or gel, it should look exactly like a plastic tip. Okay, but the difference from the tip is that you can build it however you want. You can create any shape, you can create any length, and most importantly, you can make it as thin as you want. Monica is asking, are these pre-forms? So yes, I did cut them according to the shape of my nail, so then I can feed them. And this is how I work, by the way, too. So I cut them first, and then I apply them on the nails. Yeah, so, well, they are pre-cut by me. Yes. So when I apply the product, you can see that the thickness right now on one side as well as on the other one is the same. And the goal of making this part is, you see, I'm not really rushing, right? It takes quite a while, but I'm not leaving a side that's uneven. I'm not leaving one side that's thicker than the other. Also, I wanted to show you it from all angles. So you can see this is practically almost like a tip, okay, like the tip we just applied. And then I add another bead to create an ombre. I was not thinking about the ombre on the first part, right? Because my first bead, the goal of this part was just to build this tip. And then I add the second one to build an ombre. Because if we have a white color under the blue, under this shell, I think this design looks prettier. However, with clear, I think it may look okay too. So then I use this dark blue, and the white underneath is not fully cured yet, which is actually nice because they mix a little bit. The color I'm using, I'll show you this one, is called Secrets Whisper in the Wind. Well, I'll show you. I have this jar with me. Then I add this crushed shell, and it crushed into 2 pieces as I was applying it, but I don't think it's a problem. It's still going to look pretty inside of the nail. So I just make sure that one side is on one side of the nail, and then another one is in the opposite. Now, did you notice where I'm placing this shell? I place it in the center. Okay, this is the side view I wanted to show you. I place it almost where the apex is going to be. So how long does it take? Well, like I show you can actually see the time. I'm showing you the application in real time. As I was filming with the application, it took longer, but I would say on myself, which is also a little longer, one hand is definitely not going to take longer than an hour, even though this is an inlay design. But this is not a complicated one, right? I just use one color, I use shell, I added flakes, and then I seal it. Okay, so take a look from the side view now. I added this shell purposefully on the apex area because this is where I'm going to build the thickest part of the nail. If I couldn't add it near the cuticle, because this is where we need a little bit of product. If I added it on the free edge, then I could file it all off. So this is also another reason why I place it exactly in the middle. Now take a look at the cuticle application. You see, I'm going close to the cuticle, but there's still a little margin. And once again, this is my goal on how to teach you to do the product application. It's not like we're going to apply the product and then to think how we're going to file it. And once again, I wanted to show you the product after we just applied acrylic. I take the form off and then I slightly pinch it, but there's not much to file, right? Do you see it? So we do need slight filing and shaping, but that's what I think we need to learn. Okay, so I did not do any filing. Well, maybe I did on the pinky. And this was what the nails look like. Okay, so let's see. I think you want to see these nails with the top coat, so let's turn on the next video. We also have filing and shaping there. And okay, this filing and shaping is also in real time. It's not sped up. And I just wanted to show you how little filing it takes. So ideally, shaping and filing on, I'm doing 4 nails, right? So it's also 1 nail less. But when you're doing filing and shaping on 10 nails on your client, it should not take more than 15 minutes, okay? 10 to 15 is the correct time. If it's taking you 20, 30, or, oh my God, 40 minutes or 50 minutes, that means only one thing. You're adding too much product. What else would you be filing for so long, right? So filing is always quite fast for me. You see, mostly what I need to file is the free edge, is the sidewalls, and then I simply file one side. I also have technique of filing how to get the consistent shape. Because this is only a tool on how to make the nails a little better, but I create the shape and the structure with a brush and with a product, okay? Filing is just what slightly helps us to polish the nails, but this is not something we use to build the nails. And by the way, with this exact design, I'm filing a little bit more than usual because the shell added a little extra volume on the top. So we do need to add more. Okay, so I'm noticing you guys are mentioning a 2-bead methods and 3 beads method. So in the class, we will be learning how to work with 3 beads when doing one color nails. So when I'm doing just one color nails, let's say nude or clear, obviously I use less beads because here we needed to add white and blue and shells. So, it requires more beads, a little bit more work because there's additional design inside. This is the nails after filing and shaping, but when there's just one color, you don't need to do this additional stuff, right? You just do tip, you do the stress area, and then you do the cuticle area, and it's obviously faster. So I just wanted to show you something more advanced. So you will see that even with the design, it's possible to do thin nails, it's possible to do the C-curve, and it's possible to do it fast. Okay, so let's see the final video because I'm sure you want to see the final look with the top coat application. So this is what they look like from the different angles. Please note how thin the cuticle area is. This is what the C-curve looks like. You can see the white part, you can see the clear part on top. We have shells inside, and okay, let me show you what these nails look like in on myself. Okay, or maybe not. Okay. This is my hand, and it's been 10 days. Oh no, most people never believe me that it's been 10 days. You see, in this camera, the color is quite different, right? So I'm pretty glad we recorded it in advance. So you can see that we do not have any like product lifting. They still look nice. And most importantly, this is what I wanted to show you. So once they grow longer, you see here I have cuticles already. So this part should be almost not visible at all. I mean, you can tell the difference now because we have this part is glossy and my nail is not glossy, like it's matte, right? So this is what the nails should look like after a while. So it's been 10 days for my nails now, but they are going to look the same just a little further down here. After 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, after 4 weeks, and so on. Okay? So this is the goal on how to do this. Will we be able to rewatch this? Yes, since the replay will be available for a limited time, but it will be available once we finish this live. You will be able to rewind back and watch it again. My nails are 3 times thicker. Well, that's okay. We all been there. We all learned my nails were 5 times thicker when I started. That's totally fine because you do not feel the product yet, because you still need to figure out the exact amount of the product you need to take. And I know it's hard. That's why in this class, we're not going to do these exact nails from the first day. First, we're going to learn how to pick the product. We're going to do many exercises with acrylic, with gel. We're going to pick up the beads. We're going to put them on the tip. You need to do the special exercises with lined nails. So you can practice picking the small beads first, then medium beads, then big size beads, and so on. So it goes little by little, okay? Remember when, let's say in school, how children learn how to read. We do not give them a poem to read, like we do not give them like some kind of long book right away. First, they just get familiar with letters, right? We show them A, apple, right? And then slowly they start to connect them into small, simple words. And only after that, they turn to sentences, they slowly read them, they make mistakes, and finally, at some point, they can read by themselves, but they do it slowly. And then eventually they do it better and better, and finally they're able to read by themselves, like the actual books, classic books, and so on. And it's the exact same thing here. Please do not feel discouraged if you try to do some advanced design, like long stilettos with 3D design, and it doesn't work, but it's your second day using acrylic. That's totally normal, because in education, it's important to start from the basics. And this is how we build our educational process. First, we're going to learn the letters, which is product knowledge, how to pick up the bead, how to take the gel from the jar so you will not have bubbles inside. Then we combine them into small words. We're going to apply it on the tip. We're going to work on the cuticle area. We are going to build the apex. And you will need to do this, take a picture from all of the views for Linda to evaluate them. And then finally, we are learning to read. So we're going to build the nail. We're going to build the apex, the sidewalls. You're going to take a picture from all of it once again and send it to us. Okay, so this is how the educational process works. Okay, let me quickly switch to the your comments. Practice makes perfect. Absolutely. Will you learn form fitting in the course? Yes. So, well, you will get a guide on the form fitting, but it also includes 16 lessons on form fitting. So I explain it on a scheme first, like how you need to position the form, how you need to cut it depending on the nail. And then you will get a practice videos like on the actual nail. And then you're going to practice form fitting yourself, because I know that this topic is very challenging but important. So we dedicate quite a time on this part. How stunning are those results? Oh, thank you. So what do you guys think about this set? I really wanted to create something, nice and impressive looking for you. And I think I missed some of the questions about the products. Let me quickly go through them. So the colors that I used was, this one is by Glam and Glitz. This was white that glows in the dark, was the first one I used to build a base. Can we have a camera a little closer, please? And then I used this Secrets acrylic powder to create this blue part, the dark blue. And then I used this purple, well, not purple, it's more like mint. Then I used this shell. So this is, there is a crushed shell that comes in a jar. But this called, I forgot they called it rolled shell or flattened shell. I don't know. So it comes in a bag like this. Okay, finally, I think the image is crisp now. So this is how you use it. Okay, so you just need to separate it from the paper. And then you just cut, with the scissors, a small piece that you like. And remember, some pieces were crushed, so you just simply crush it like this. And this is how it turns into crushed shell. So it's pretty simple. Sometimes they also have this sticky base underside. So it's up to you. You can take it off or you can leave it. It works both ways. Okay, so this is the shell that I used. This is the shell that I used. And well, since you guys already seen this nail, this is the design we're going to do tomorrow with gel. So if you have gel lovers here who for some reason do not use acrylic, or you're allergic to acrylic, that's what we're going to do today. Okay, solar gel is similar to acrylic, but it's a different material. Okay, so speaking of gel and acrylic and how different they are, chemically they have the same base, so they're very similar. But in terms of nail technician work and how we work with them, they are different in application. So ideally, I recommend you to master acrylic first and then switch to gel technology, because this way it's going to be easier for you. And if you will ask which one is easier, well, I mean, they both have their own challenges, advantages and disadvantages. So ideally, I recommend you to be able to work with both, because gel is perfect for glass nails, for glass designs, for inlay designs. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you one and you will see how beautiful it looks once it's all sealed with transparent gel. But acrylic, you can work with acrylic with technique without forms. So this one is great for restoring damaged, injured, extremely short and beaten nails. So ideally, if you know how to work with two technologies, you will be able to do anything you want. Okay, I prefer gel over acrylic. Yeah, I think almost every nail technician has their own preference. With me, it's quite interesting because I was always an acrylic girl. This is what I started with, and for a long time, acrylic was my #1 product. But I think it was mostly because I didn't really know how to work with gel properly. I couldn't get the same results with gel, and that's why I didn't really like it fully. But then finally, when the thick consistency gels came out, I loved it so much. So now, believe it or not, I love them like the same. It just depends on what I want to do. So it depends on the goal I want to do. I like polygel as well. So if I want to have like beautiful long stilettos with inlay design, it will be probably easier for me to use gel. If I want to fix short bitten nails without any free edge at all, acrylic might be a better solution for me. And if I want to do something with dual forms, I think I will pick polygel. I don't notice the smell, but my family hates it. Oh yeah, well, it's the smell of money. That's what I usually say to all the people who don't like it for some reason. Okay, so before we finish our day-to-day, wow, it's been 2 hours. Are you guys tired? I actually didn't even feel how fast it went. I would quickly remind you about the best deal that we have today for this online class, Nail Sculpting for Beginners. It's called Nail Sculpting for Beginners, but please let the name beginners do not distract you, because even if you already have experience, but if you would like to achieve the same result I just showed you, the application where you don't really need to do much filing, the application that's the exact same amount of product, that there's not much shaping needed, that is going to last, that you will not have any lifting, that you will be able to fit the forms with any nails, then this class is definitely for you. So it gives you 6 months of access, 75 CEU credits. If you're in the US, these are credits that are required in some states to renew your nail technician license. If you're not from the States, well, this might not be useful for you. However, you will still get a certificate, 2 certificates. You will have a live teacher graded assignments. You will learn acrylic and gel. You will get lifetime access to international students chat, monthly live streams with me, and Zoom meetings. And I'm super excited for this one. So since we're starting on February, I think our first one is going to be on March. And honestly, this is something I also needed, because during last couple of years after the pandemic, I had more online classes than live classes. And before I had like tons of live. And I really miss it, like live interaction. So I'm really look forward to these Zoom meetings, because I think we're going to pick the topic for each Zoom meeting and discuss it. But whenever you will have problems, you can show them. So yes, I'm really excited about this part. I even took the marker instead of this clicker to switch to my next. Okay, so the best deal is today. You can see it under the video. Once again, if you're watching through the YouTube, you will not see this deal. If you're thinking that, well, maybe I should do this tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, you will be able to. We will still have a nice deal tomorrow that's lower than regular price. But the best one is definitely today. So the class starts on February 12th. You will have time to prepare, to clear your schedule if you need to buy products if you don't have them yet. And you will have 6 months to complete the class, which, trust me, is more than enough. Some people are able to finish it within 1 or 2 months, but some people who like to take it slower, who take sometimes watch lessons only every week or every 2 weeks, might need a longer time. Okay, question. If we have reaction to the smell of monomer acrylic, how do we pass the graded assignment? Okay, Felicia, so since this class includes both technologies, now we built it in a way that it's separated into modules. And if you prefer or cannot, due to the allergic reactions, do the acrylic practice part, you can just skip it. Okay, you will still need to know about acrylic, how it works, the chemistry behind it, right? Like I said, if you ever have a client who comes with acrylic nails, you need to be able to know how to remove them, right? So you will need to pass the quiz, but you can just skip the practice part with acrylic. That's totally fine. And the same goes for the gel. If for some reason you're allergic to gel or you just choose not to do the gel practice part, you can skip this. But this is, like I said, the most part of the class. The most important part is the form fitting, is the prep, and it's all like it's the same for both technologies. So if you skip the practice part of acrylic, that means you will not be posting the final assignment for acrylic, and you will get only one certificate for gel. Okay, but if you choose to do both, which I recommend you to, then you will get 2 certificates. When using different acrylic powders for design, Nikisha is asking, do you use the same brush? Newbie question. No, brush doesn't really matter. I mean, however, brands create the brushes that are designed for the exact product for a reason. Let's say there is a product that's called Entity, and it's rather soft. So the brushes that they designed for it are also designed for like a softer product. So sometimes they do work better with a certain brand, but usually it's so specific you will not really notice it, especially if you're a beginner. So no, I recommend you to have a separate brush for color acrylics, for glitters, and for regular colors such as clear, nude, and white. But no, you do not need to have a brush for every single brand. That's an awesome deal. I've already had acrylic one, but may still do it again. Oh, Michelle, that's so awesome. I would love if you join again. And by the way, if you're a student who already passed the class, whether only acrylic or gel or even both, you can also take this deal and please write to us to our email info@nailsproacademy.com, or you know how to connect through the website. There is even more special deal for you. You will get an additional discount as our student if you took this class, Nail Sculpting for Beginners. And some parts will definitely be easier for you, but you will definitely benefit from these new lessons that we have from these Zoom meetings, because the most valuable part in this class is not just the lessons itself, even though this is also valuable information, but in a feedback, in Zoom meetings, live streams. So if you are a student who took this class some time ago, then definitely do not hesitate to contact us, because we do have something for you too. Certificates are valid to get a job in Canada. Certificates are not equal license. Okay, so license in every single country, they differ, requirements. I can tell you about the US license, which you need to get, you need to pass the special exam in the state board. And even though we were trying to make our certificates work like this, unfortunately, it's not the same. So it's kind of, take this as driver's license, right? You still need to pass it in a certain place, like in your country, that confirms that you have enough knowledge to drive. So our certificates are recognized in most countries, and we had feedback that in most countries, some people were able to buy from professional suppliers only once they had the certificate. You will have a CU credit stated there, so you can definitely take a credit for this. But unfortunately, I'm not familiar with the laws in every single country, so I don't know exactly if you need some special type of license. So if you do, then you will need to do some documents or additional exams in your local state board. But our classes give you, most important part, the skill itself. You will be able to do beautiful nails, and you will have internationally recognized certificate. These free love sessions are a blessing. Oh, thank you so much. Does the course include sculpting different shapes? Okay, so in the class for beginners, we only do traditional shape, which is square. And we also have level 2 and level 3, which is a different classes. And we decided to include different shapes in other levels, because like I explained you with an example of how people learn how to read or walk. I would love to include like all kinds of designs and different extreme shapes into this class, but this will be a nice advertisement, right? If I say you will learn everything for 1 month from me, from zero to like high-class nail technician, from all kinds of designs and shapes. But I want to be honest with you, and I want to be real, and I want you to get real, actual results, right? So that's why to be able to control the product, to feed the form properly, first you need to focus on just one shape. And once you do, then you can proceed to the next ones. So I was supposed to tell you that, but okay, I will. So we're planning to update level 2 and 3 as well this year. And we will be adding salon shapes to level 2. Because at this point, level 2 is mostly infill. It's infill, inlay design, ombre, and French nails. And we decided that we're going to add salon shapes because this is something people definitely need. We do not need license in Canada. Oh, thank you so much for this information. Yeah, because honestly, I didn't know. Like I said, we have people joining us from all over the world. I do have some information like in the countries I'm familiar with, but I do not know the rules. But what I actually learned, most countries do not require some kind of special license. So, except for US. Okay. Will you teach acrylic and gel both? Yes, we are going to learn both technologies. I recommend you to start with acrylic. And after that, gel might seem a little easier for you. And then we do gel, and then we do color application, and then we pass both final exams, and you will get 2 certificates. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I'm delighted with the webinar. I follow you for a long time. I'm going to be some of the classes, definitely. Thank you so much, Angela. By the way, if we have students here who already took my classes, please let me write something in the chat. I just want, I want to see you. I always feel so proud of our students because, like I said, I'm a very happy and blessed person because I'm doing what I love. I'm teaching people. I'm sharing my experience. I'm doing it from all parts of the world. I need level 2. When is that happening? Okay, so level 2 is happening later this year. I do not have the exact date. I actually wasn't supposed to tell you on this webinar, but this is the important part. We do not accept most people to level 2 right away because, okay, on level 1, I teach you all the basics, form fitting, filing, and shaping, following the techniques that I do. So if you're not familiar with them, on level 2, we're not going to focus on this anymore. I'll just tell you, okay, fit the form, fit it lower than usual, like 2 times, and then let's do almond. Most likely you will not be able to do this even if you have experience, like you know how to do some things. You're just not familiar with my techniques, okay? So whenever I wanted to learn something, whether it was social media or what else? I did vocal classes and much more. I realized that it's always better when you do level 1, beginners class, because ideally, when you're taking the course, you need to try to forget about everything you knew before. And I know it's hard, but it's better if you try, because this is how you will learn a new technique, a new approach. And then you will decide. You can use something that you used before. You can combine them however you want later in your work. But like this is the point, okay? So this class, I think this is my favorite one, and this is the most popular one because this is the one where I'm going to teach you this technique where you apply the product when you almost do not need to file. On level 2, we'll be focused on form fitting for different shapes. And the same application for different shapes. So if you're not able to do this one, it will not make sense to level 2. So we do have the special exam you need to take to pass to level 2, and unfortunately most people who tried like starting from level 2 were not able to do this. And like I said, to me, your result, your final assignment is very important. I do not want to just sell you this course and then, just do whatever you want with this. I don't care. No, it doesn't work like that. You will have a teacher. You will do assignments. We will make sure that you do everything right. So in order to do this, you need to have like a special prep. Okay, I need you to know how to do this 3-bead method, how to feed the forms correctly. Okay, so it's kind of, like my simple example with learning how to read. You need to learn how to work with the technique that we teach so you can proceed to the next level. Okay. Where do we find the test for this weekend? The test will be available tomorrow because the test will include information both from today and tomorrow. Okay, so you will get the link with this exam in your email. I went to the website and can find the course to check the price. Okay, so please you can go to the website, but on the website you may find a regular price. So the webinar special is available only at one place, which is under the video at nailsproacademy.com. Okay, I will ask someone to leave the link to the webinar registration in the chat on YouTube. Now, so if you find this class on the website, please do not take this deal because it's more expensive, okay? The lowest and the best price is only on this webinar page. If you're still unable to find this, please contact us at nailsproacademy.com. How do we confirm that we are attending the whole live session? By passing the quiz exam, by passing the test. That's the only way. We will not need any other confirmation. However, if you take a selfie or and share it in your stories, I would just love that personally, but of course this is not the requirement. So you will just need to complete the test with at least 80% score. That's the only confirmation we will need. Do we need a live model for the test, or we can use a fake hand? If we are talking about the test for today's class, then no, you will not need anything like that. It will be just a theoretical quiz. And if we're talking about the class that we're offering today, nail sculpting for beginners, then you will need a live models as well. Okay. When is the deadline for the test tomorrow? So after we finish tomorrow class, you will have 24 hours to complete the test. I missed a bit stormy weather. How do I access what I missed today? So once I finish, you will be able to watch replay, but it will be available for 3 days only until January 31st. So please hurry up, because I really do not want to, I always feel sad, and when people, oh, I missed it, I really wanted to see, please use this time while it's still available. How many hours of class, training, active practices will this provide, Kalira? I will need help with someone about the hours. So active practices, so one technology with acrylic, we do at least 6 hands-on practice and about 3 to 4 actual exercises. So this is how many hours you will do. So if you need a special paper of hours, if you are in the US, usually that's the only country that requires this hours paper, that we can also provide it for you. I believe there were like 40 hours of practice, like something like this, and in theory there's something like this, maybe about 80, and with the gel it's the same, about 5 to 6 models and about 3 to 4 exercises. Okay guys, so I think this is everything I planned for today. So how to get certificate for this class? Check if your first and last name is spelled correctly. This is important one. If you guys registered as, I don't know, Candy Hero, or, well, something that's not your first and last name, then this is how you will get certificates. It will be issued automatically, so please make sure it's correct. Then you will need to follow the link in your email tomorrow. It will be available after the class tomorrow. Then you need to complete the quiz within 24 hours, and it will be available in your profile at nailsproacademy.com. And I believe this is the first time we're giving certificates for the free class, so I am really excited to do this. I need 400 hours to get a license in my state. Calera. Okay, yes, so we do provide a paper like this. Unfortunately, most states, state boards, are old-fashioned, and they do not take all these hours into consideration towards your license. So most of the times students were able to use our certificate, and some part of the hours was confirmed, and then they had to take some additional hours in their actual physical beauty school. But I mean, we're working on this for years now, and unfortunately they do not allow online classes to be like 100% towards the education, and I do not understand that, because we provide all the theory that and all the practice. But anyways, you will be able to have some hours, but I mean, it's almost like 90% of state boards still do not allow all hours to be used of this, only like partially. I just did my first ever from acrylic extension on my thumb from watching you, Megan. That's awesome. Please share what you did. Share your workbooks if you feel them a little bit. Share your workspaces. I would love to see this. Tag me in your stories on Instagram, on Facebook, Nailcou or Nails Pro Academy. I would love to see that, and thank you so much. Okay, so wow, it's been 2 hours and a half. Like I said, I planned a little less time, but I was just so excited, so pumped. It was hard to stop. So let's do 5 more minutes of Q&A. But tomorrow I planned a little less time for the content and a little bit more time for Q&A, because I'm sure you will have many questions after tomorrow. So if you have some important long question, we can also do this tomorrow. Can't wait for tomorrow class. Okay, awesome. If we have more questions, who can we email? Okay, I will also ask someone to send this in the chat now. It's info@nailsproacademy.com. If you have technical questions regarding the class, the payment, the special, if you're a former student, you want a discount, all this information will be available through a feedback or on our website, nailsproacademy.com. Once you log in, there is a chat bubble on the right side. You can also connect through this. Do you have a course on crooked fingers, Anna? Well, no, we do not have a separate course on it. Honestly, I don't think it will make sense to have a whole course about it, because this is, if we are talking about a little bit crooked, most people have at least one finger that goes a little bit to the side. If we are talking about extremely crooked, that's not as often. So it's included in nail sculpting for beginners, like how to deal with fingers that are looking a little bit to the sides. And I think that's it, because, and like I said, I cannot even imagine doing this class separately, because then I will need to explain how to prep this kind of nails, how to fit the form, how to shape them, how to apply the product. And this is technically already almost the whole part of nail sculpting for beginners class. Are there any specials on bundle classes other than one advertised for us today? And unfortunately, the only special we have is nail sculpting for beginners. So yes, we do have different offers on our webinar, sometimes on bundle classes as well, but today this is the only one because we just updated it. We're still updating. I added some modules in it. So no, today is just one class. Thank you for free training and certificates for continuing education, of course. Okay, so I also noticed that some of you are sharing that you want to take this class but unable to pay today. And so what you can do, you can click on this deal, you can set an order, and this price will be secured for you, and you will still have, I believe, 2 or 3 days. So, but you will lock the lowest, like the best price that is available only today. Okay. Thank you for your time. See you tomorrow. Going to meet my nemesis acrylic. I learned to sculpt with gel. Dvor is sharing how I now use e-file and hand file. Maybe I removed too much product. Okay, if we are talking about shaping product with the e-file, by the way, I also noticed this question was here. So after I did acrylic application, did you notice, guys, that I only used hand file? And the reason I did that, I didn't really need an e-file. I do use it sometimes. Sometimes you do the design that requires a little bit extra volume, so you use it. Sometimes I have clients that have this very tricky cuticles and I want to get closer without touching the cuticles with a hand file, so I do use e-file. But the point of the my technique of work is that you don't really need e-file, especially when filing after you just apply the product, because I sculpted with a brush, not the e-file. But of course we do need e-file in our lives because we need to prep the nails. Then you will definitely need it for infill, because only with e-file you can file underneath the nail, and you can file the nail shorter. You can do it faster with e-file. So we do need e-file for work, of course, but if we just did extensions, most of the times I don't really use e-file. We just do not need this. Do you have any recommendations for table towels napkin for acrylic when wiping brush clean? Yes, my favorite brand is Kleenex because they have this tissue that's very smooth. So ideally, you should not use any kind of tissues or napkins with texture, because whenever there is a texture, it's some components, I forgot the name of them, but someone who's working in this industry explained it to me. So they add something into this paper, which is not very good once it connects with the monomer. It's not very good for your brush. So I recommend this smooth kind of napkins. I mean, it doesn't have this brand I just mentioned. It can be any brand, but once you find the ones that are smooth without, this dotted texture. Okay. Oh, Cherry, thank you so much for stating my Instagram, Nails Pro Academy, and email. Thank you so much. Anastasia, what type of question is going to be in a test? Miroslava, seriously, you want me to mention all the questions now so you can prepare the answers? Well, every single question that is going to be in the test was somehow mentioned during this live or tomorrow live. So it will be related to the content part about nails, nail types, nail technology. Okay? But it's not too hard. I mean, if you watch this day and you're going to watch tomorrow, you will be able to pass it 100%. Yes, young nails is quite expensive. Oh yeah, I love young nails acrylic powders, especially color ones. These are pretty good. And you're talking about the wipes. Oh yes, NSI has amazing wipes as well. So yes, guys, these wipes from brands are pretty expensive. I agree. That's why I usually buy, the ones from cosmetology, or also there's a great ones for, I'm not even sure, for like depilation. I'm not even sure if I explain it correctly. The ones they use to remove hair. So they usually sold in these big strips. And if you cut them into small parts, you can also use them as the wipes. But they should be the ones that are made from some kind of fabric, because some of them are too stiff, so those won't work. The ones I use, they're by Kleenex, but they're kitchen towels. But we're talking about nail wipes that we use to take off the sticky layer, to clean the nails, and so on. But for cleaning the acrylic brush, I use regular, like, dry table napkins, or this tissue that comes from the box. Waxing. Oh yes, thank you. Marta, I just bought the course. I'm super excited. Thank you, Marta, and welcome. Oh, I am excited too. Honestly, I cannot wait for the Zoom meeting. Where do we send the answers of the quiz after tomorrow? On the website. You will get the link on your email once we finish the second class. Then you follow this link, and it will be on our website, nailsproacademy.com. You will just answer these questions of the quiz. Once you get 80%, you will get certificate. Will it be multiple choice questions? Oh no, guys! I feel now like a strict teacher, and like in school. Well, I cannot tell you that because honestly, I do not know these details. I'm definitely going to check it to see. I'm pretty sure there's going to be just one correct answer. So don't worry. It's not going to be too hard and too complicated. Like I said, if you understood everything I told you about today, I shared today and tomorrow, you will be able to pass it. How I can answer this question in download workbook? Okay, so you can whether print it and write it down, or you can, I've seen some people use like iPad and special. There's like, I'm not sure what the software called, that allows you to actually add text on top. So yeah, I'm not sure that this PDF works for it. I'm not sure you can actually add text right here. So you need whether to print it, or to use like a special stylus on top, or just use like a separate document or note to add this. Shout out to Linda, Nail Pro teacher, helping you out today. Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Linda. And thank you, Cherry, as well. Thank you all so much for support. Thank you all for your questions. Wow, it's been 2 hours, 40 minutes, and I'm super excited. I'm not even sure how I'm going to fall asleep today, but I want to thank you so much. And the most exciting and best part that I'm not saying goodbye, because I am going to see you all tomorrow. Nan is sharing, I used my Apple Pencil on my iPad. Smart. Well, yeah, that's exactly what I meant. You can use this pencil if you have one. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, the special, the best, lowest, the best price special is available today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow right here. Use your workbooks. Maybe you will have some time to print them, because we are going to work on day 2, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.